Hey everyone, it's Saturday. Time for another episode of Beyond Garnet. Let's get creative.
May be too intense for some listeners, may be unsuitable for sensitive people, may cause dizziness, may cause drowsiness, may cause excitability. Safety goggles may be required for listening. Take with food, avoid contact with skin, avoid extreme temperatures, and store in a cool, dry place. This is not legal advice, must be present to win. Contents under pressure may contain small parts. Listen at your own risk.
Hey everyone, what a lovely guest I have for you today. You will know her from Providence, Strange Happenings, and Nashville. One of my most favorite humans, Juli Tapken. Hey Julie, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you so much for having me, Lorna.
Yeah, absolutely.
Glad to be with you.
Me too. I miss you. I don't get to see you very often.
I know. I can't believe it's been a minute and a half since we've seen one another, but I've loved keeping up with you and everything that you're doing and listening to your broadcast, and I'm just so excited about the wonderful things happening.
Well, I'm very excited to have you as a guest today because I think you are a tremendous actress. Have you filmed a class or anything in Nashville?
I do, as a matter of fact. I attend the Nashville Studio of Method Acting, and my coach is Tina Gallo. I really am enjoying all of the elements of that class, and I really enjoy, honestly, this is the first time I've steadily trained, I suppose. You know, I've had coaches and I've done this here and a workshop there and everything, but I'm really enjoying just the steady, concentrated, constantly moving forward training that I'm receiving from the National Studios. So, yeah.
That's fantastic. I'm glad you found a place like that. It's real. I think it's difficult to find studios or places to train where you can go steadily if you're not on the East Coast or West Coast.
Right. Well, and actually, National Studio of Method Acting is fairly new. She opened her school in June of last year.
Okay.
And we've got a really great core of 5 to 7 of us that have really been committed every single week. And it just, you can see growth and you can see opportunities to build on, what you were working on last week or even last month. Or, and it's funny looking back at some of my earlier things. I want to thank you. For that sweet comment about you. That means so much about me, about acting, my acting from you. That just blesses my heart greatly. But it's funny now going back to see some of that old stuff. I wish I could apply some of the techniques that I understand now.
Right.
But I guess we all do that. Creatives, we go back and see our finished projects and think, I could have done that a little better. But I guess that's why the next opportunity is always so exciting for us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Every day is an opportunity to do it again and, do a little bit better than we did yesterday. Or at least take the perspectives that we learned from, our previous days, the projects, and apply them.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of being human. And
yes.
Striving to surpass what we did before.
Yes, absolutely. It's nice to get that, like you've gone back and you've looked at some of your past projects and you think about how much you've grown as an actor. And it makes you grateful for those first experiences that you had because they launched you and gave you sort of the guts to move forward. So you're talking about training down in Nashville and you're doing that steadily now. And before you were taking a workshop here or a class there. So that you're a great person to ask this question. Seeing the growth that you've made as an actor, what is the impact and the importance of training for an actor?
Well, honestly, I feel like the importance for me personally is the consistency of thought. I know that I have a class coming up in 6 days. And,
right.
And it constantly gets me thinking about what we've been working on, what we've talked about, how I can take those methods, those techniques, and tailor them to my individual acting style. Which is what I really like about this training method is she, shares with us all of the masters, Meisner, Strasberg, Adler, and then we can take and look and try and practice and tweak and, maybe Meisner doesn't work great for me, but Rudehagen works great for me.
Right.
And so I really appreciate that she allows us to explore the different techniques, decide what works for us, what we're willing to let work for us, and then also what doesn't work for us. She never tells us this is the one and only way to do something.
Right.
And I appreciate that because as a creative, I'm always thinking about there's got to be a different way to do this, or there's got to be a better way, or we've done it this way 3 times. Let's try a different way this time.
Right.
I feel like we really get that permission and that safe space to explore, which is really it's just so impactful to me in my everyday working. I'm constantly thinking. I'm constantly observing myself, people around me, behaviors, attitudes that you catch a vibe of, even though the person isn't necessarily projecting that.
Yeah.
So it teaches me to really observe how I am picking up on an attitude that's not being projected.
Yeah.
So that helps me when I need to project an attitude that isn't to be over the top, obvious.
Yeah. Now, you mentioned a safe space, and I love that you brought this up because I think this is something that a lot of new actors face, or actors who haven't done a lot of training, or they've got sucked into training with just one person who makes them think that it's their way or no way. That's not a safe space. So I love that you brought that up because I think that's something that new actors need to be aware of when they are seeking a place for training, is make sure they feel safe to be open and vulnerable in their scenes. And if they're not, that's not the place for them.
Right. Yeah, that's really, really good advice because it is important to feel safe. It's important to feel like, and I don't know if a lot of creatives are this way. I suspect that they are, but we're perfectionists. And, it pains us to make mistakes.
Yes.
And so when making mistakes and exploring and just, trying things out is part of your training, it takes that fear of, I look silly or I'm doing it wrong or, any of that. It really takes that fear away because the safe space, the opportunity to explore.
Yes.
Really, that's what our craft is about.
Yeah.
Is the opportunity to explore behavior, to explore attitude, to explore emotion, and how we do or don't project that readily.
Julie, what were you like as a kid?
I'm the youngest of 4 children.
Oh, wow.
I was, I was the family clown. I was constantly singing or, making jokes or, I've pretty much been the entertainer of the family.
Always the entertainer. I love this.
Always, always. Of course, my sisters were entertaining as well. So I honestly believe that I picked up on that and thought, I'm going to do what big sisters do, and then just like every younger child, we're a little extra. So we'll just take it a little extra,
I love it. Oh, that's so fantastic. Do you remember your first performance for your family?
You know what I do? My very first performance was a church Christmas program called Salty's Christmas Calamity. And I was 7 years old, and I got to sing a solo, Away in a Manger was my solo. And I still, just vividly, I can remember how that felt. From that moment on, I just always sought for opportunities to share that joy.
Then, well, so speaking of singing, you have an album out.
I do.
I'm excited about this. Your album is Denim with Diamonds?
Denim with Diamonds.
Tell me what your experience was like going in and doing this album.
Oh my goodness, it was a great experience. First of all, let me just tell you that the music business is very difficult, and it was never anything that I ever thought that I would want to pursue.
Yes.
I'm not a competitive person, I kind of like take the easy way, try to set myself up for success,
Yeah.
And so I had performed in a movie called Mission Improbable, and the president of my label, Planet Records, saw me in that movie, and then began contacting me and talking to me about writing songs for his label. So I signed with Platinum Planet in 2016, and it's the fall of 2016. And so it took us 2 years to finish the album. But they're all self-written. The musicians are just incredible. I'm so blessed by the people playing behind me, and Brian White and Gary Lunn and Dennis Morgan, true artists in their own right. I'm very proud of the caliber of talent that is playing on these tracks. And
right.
We released the album digitally February 14th, and then we just got the CDs a week ago. So they're going out in the mail for our pre-orders, available now at any of my live gigs, which are canceled or postponed at this time.
Yeah.
I know it'll all pick back up, and there are numerous ways to hear the music.
Now, if someone wanted to download this, where can they download it?
You can download it on Amazon. You can Apple Music, iTunes. I'm on Spotify. I'm on Reverb Nation. I also have a website, JuliTapken.com, that you can hear the music and also order the CD if you are so inclined.
Awesome. It's so exciting. Here's a little clip from Dodge That Bullet off Juli Tapken's debut album titled Denim with Diamonds.
I can still smell the smoking gun and see the web of lies you spun. You were a jerk to cause so much hurt, so much pain. You drove this girl insane. Had we stayed together, would have been hell forever. I dodged that bullet, it would have been bad. I dodged that bullet, could have torn me in half. I dodged that bullet, and I'm so glad it didn't hit me. I dodged that bullet, got out of the way. I dodged that bullet, now just stay away. I dodged that bullet, thank God every day it didn't hit me.
That was Dodge That Bullet from Juli Tapken's debut album, Denim with Diamonds. From your perspective, what it's like doing TV versus film, because they're two different worlds.
Mm-hmm. They are two different worlds. That's a really good question, Lana. It's fun. TV, I would say, is like a day camp, and film is like a summer camp.
Hey, that's a cool way to put it.
Makes
yeah.
any sense? You know what I mean? You usually, and I'm a day player. I've been a day player, so usually my television shoot days are 1, 2, 3 days max. Whereas for feature film, I've been on set for as long as a month, getting all the shots. But for the most part, you're generally everything you're doing is generally the same. And you go through your process. It's exactly the same for television and film. Just courtesy with your crew is paramount.
Yeah.
And professionalism, be on time. I don't care what kind of project you're doing. Those things are the standard across the board.
Yes, very much so. You talked about being in the play when you were 7. Was that your defining moment when you knew you wanted to be an actor? If not, what was the defining moment that you went, I'm going to do this and I'm going to go for it?
You know what's so funny, Lana? I've always been an entertainer, so I was the entertaining, member of my family.
Yeah.
I always, participated in community theater through high school, college. I was a mass communications major in college, so I did theater as part of that curriculum. It wasn't really until I was married probably. Well, our first year of marriage, then my husband and I decided to move to Branson, Missouri, because that seemed to fit my sensibilities a little better. And so I worked professionally in Branson for 15 years. And in that time, around 2012, randomly, an audition notice came up on Facebook. We weren't on in groups. I wasn't looking for acting jobs. It was just a random, God thing, that it just happened to just come up there, and my husband saw it and said, you should submit for this. Now I've been working 15 years in Branson at a steady job. I didn't have a headshot that wasn't 10 years old.
Yeah.
Didn't have a resume that had more than, those 2 shows on it. So I kind of blew him off a little bit. But he just kept on me, and so we wound up submitting to that, and I got the role. That was my first experience with film. It was a movie called Surrender. It was a great experience, and from that moment on, then we decided, what have we got to lose? The worst thing they can do is tell me no and send me home. So we just thought, the fear factor's gone, and I have support from my family.
Right.
So, let's do it. What have we got to lose? And that's kind of always been our attitude. We can always come back and do this, whatever we're doing at the moment. We can always come back.
Yeah.
But if we don't go forward, we'll never know if we could.
Yeah.
So that kind of is how I got into the industry full time.
Sure.
We just decided, why not? They can send me home if they want to. So far they haven't. The most challenging aspect of being an actor, I would say, is my own confidence level and not getting in my head.
I hear that so often. I really do.
And it really is debilitating. It can be debilitating if you let it be. If you just, you've got to say, and you hear it all the time, trust the process and trust the emotions. Just trust yourself, and it's the truth.
Yeah.
But if you don't, you can get in your head and really create some problems for yourself if you just don't trust yourself. So that's truly what I'm learning to do, is just trust myself. If I make a mistake, hopefully I have a director that will guide me in the proper channel.
Right.
And just really being open to collaboration. Understanding that film, television, music, honestly, nothing is a solo operation. It takes so many people, so many talents, so many perspectives to really make a beautiful and wonderful piece of art. And so, that's how I get out of my head is, what? It's not about you, Mommy.
Yeah.
You do your job, let this guy do his job, and together we'll come up with something wonderful. Absolutely. And, I feel like sometimes, and correct me if I'm wrong, you being a director, sometimes I feel like actors resent directors' contribution. And I'll be honest with you, there was a time in my life when I did. I never say anything or outwardly project that, but, in my mind I think, well, you don't know my backstory, where I'm coming from.
Yeah.
And so, I really had to turn that around and say, well, you don't know where he's coming from. You don't know what his perspective is or her perspective as a director. What is the overall vision? And so many times, in fact, Lana, you are a director that did this for me, would give suggestions and open a wormhole to a perspective that I had not considered. You think you get this kind of tunnel vision, and you think this is it, this is the emotion, this is the right way to get. And then when somebody opens up a little window and shines light in a corner, you're like, oh, well, that's a very interesting layer. And so I think the most damaging thing an actor can do for their own performance is to not consider other options, to not allow someone else's perspective to open up your performance.
Absolutely. Oh, wow. Thank you. That was a nice compliment. Thank you, Julie. Dialogue memorization. That is something that I see so many actors struggle with. And I think a lot of it is because they don't put the time in to learn it. I think they put enough time in to where they think they know it, or they think they know enough of it that they can get on set.
I got the gist of it. I got the gist of it.
Yeah, to the gist. Yes, that's horrible, isn't it? That's a horrible mindset when you're portraying a character.
It is a terrible thing.
Yeah.
Right.
How do you feel about dialogue memorization, and what are your skills at handling that?
Girl, I memorize everything. I memorize auditions. I memorize self-tapes. I memorize just acting exercises I find myself. Because I personally don't work well with sides in my hands.
Uh-huh.
It takes me out of it, no matter how hard I try to, ignore them. I know that I have sides. And so my process now that I've learned, kind of developed through the years is, First thing, I'll read the script and highlight my parts. First thing, read them as I'm highlighting them. And then I'll talk over the script with my husband, talk about what's going on and what do I want,
Right.
those basic questions, that you do. And then as I begin doing my script work, and really digging in to find the little nuggets of information that a writer, will slide in there, in parentheses,
Yes.
There's so much, written in that one word. And in that process, I begin to get the picture of the scene or the picture of what my character is trying to communicate. So therein comes the gist.
Yes.
So that's where a lot of people stop. They're like, I got the gist.
Yep.
I got it.
Yep.
So I get the gist. And I'm very blessed. I have a very supportive husband who is, 100% in this with me. The only thing he doesn't do is in front of camera work.
Yes.
Everything else he does for me and with me. So we talked it out, and he runs lines with me. And really, I have found, Lana, that the more I do my script study and consider my character choices and the reasons why they're in this situation at this point in time, the words just kind of come to me. I mean, it makes sense if you really think about it in an overall picture sense. And then what I do, once I know the words and have them memorized, I pick it up. If that makes any sense, because acting is so much more than the words.
Absolutely.
And so I feel like, again, when we stop it, I've got the gist, and it becomes about the words, and it becomes about what we're, trying to recall in our heads from what the writers put down. Instead of, these are words that are coming out of my soul, my thoughts, my experiences, and I'm not going to say them in complete sentences with perfect commas and exclamations.
Yes.
I'm going to think of it. I mean, I'm going to have to bring up these words from memory, from an authentic place that I'm coming up with these words. I'm thinking about these words for the very first time in my head. And I think that that's where the challenge for some actors lies. It's frightening to think I'm going to forget my words on purpose. I'm not constantly running lines in my brain. I'm running the scene in my brain. And this is why I like about consistently training. I then get to practice that. So for 2 days before my scene work, I won't look at the script necessarily. I will be rolling it around in my head, and then, my partner and I'll go over it before we perform it. But I have found that for me, that brings an authenticity of thought.
Yes.
Words don't just readily roll off of our tongues in our everyday lives. We have to think about phrasing and how we're going to convey this respectfully,
Right.
Or not, depending on your scene.
Right. What current projects are you working on right now that you're able to share with us?
So we're still training. I did get an audition request yesterday, which was nice, for a television show. We are still working on auditions. The projects have been postponed. I honestly believe it's a great opportunity to regroup, to make sure that everything is in it, because as you well know, production is an ornery child.
Yes. Yes, it is.
You know what I mean? It's so contrary, So, I don't have any fear of, them picking back up or not picking back up. There will be, an opportunity where something else might take the place. But right now, I'm really just focusing on getting the album heard. I had some gigs lined out, singing gigs that have been postponed. So honestly, Lana, right now I am just working on preparing myself for whatever production or project or performance I might be blessed to have.
And I think that's what a lot of creatives should be doing right now, since they have time to look at it, try to look at that silver lining in the situation and look at it like it's a great time for writers to spend time writing. It's a great time for actors to be working on their skills. Yeah, I think that we just have to find the silver lining in this and be prepared for when everything kicks in, because it's going to go when it does.
Yes, I agree. And honestly, that's really how I'm looking at it. Is just this is a great opportunity for me to make sure that I'm prepared.
Yes.
So look at everything I'm working on and decide which is worth my effort and which is worth my time and maybe what's not. I'm maybe not suited for every single role that's ever been written.
We like to think we are, right?
Oh, yes, of course. Absolutely, I can play a 73-year-old man with hypertension.
Yes. What hobbies do you have, Julie?
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm an avid reader.
Ah.
So I love to read. In fact, I'm heartbroken because our library is closed right now.
Right.
So I'm rereading, my Uta Hagen book.
Hey, there you go.
My forever book. I'm rereading those things. So I love to read. I like to grow things. I like to garden. I like to cook, to eat. So that's a good thing for that.
Yeah. What's your specialty? Do you have a special dish that they love?
I make fried rice, pork fried rice, which I made for dinner last night. And actually, I had been promising my son that I'd make it for 3 nights, and then last night he just, was like, we're doing this. It's fried rice or nothing.
That's it, Mom. It's so tonight. It's on tonight.
Yeah, it is on. We're doing it. So that would be my specialty. That's sort of a family favorite, one that we have probably once a week.
Oh, nice. Now, do you collect anything?
I'm not much of a collector, really. I am kind of a minimalist.
Oh, okay.
It used to be, my family growing up, mother is the youngest, but her parents went through, the Depression and all of that. And so they were very frugal and very, we're the family that saved the tin foil, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
The plastic bag. I still have the tin foil stash and the plastic bag stash. But I try very hard to just kind of keep things minimal because I have found that chaos in my environment stifles my personal creativity.
Yes.
And there's something around, if I see dust on a collection, rather than work on my theme, that's going to just take all my thought process, and that's all I can think about until I get that taken care of. So I have found that if I keep things simple, then I have a lot more time in the day to concentrate on what I believe is more important.
Julie and her dusty collections. Sounds like a kid's book. That's like a kid's book.
We throw it out and get a new one once it gets dusty.
Now, this is a sort of heavy question. Do you have a disappointment that sticks with you?
I really don't. I really don't. I want to have, like some great, story of, heart-crushing people overcoming, But the truth of the matter is, I'm a believer in Jesus Christ, and I believe that God holds the future. I believe that every closed door is, his way leading me a different direction. So anytime something doesn't work out the way that I hoped it would, I've matured enough in my faith now to really understand that I don't know everything. I don't know what I have just been saved from or what, could possibly have resulted from my having gotten absolutely everything I ever wanted, So I try to look at life that way. I'm very grateful for every single thing that I have, the opportunity, every experience. I mean, honestly, Lana, if the world ended today or, my career just stopped today, I would be grateful and proud of the things that I've been allowed to accomplish, the things that I've been allowed to experience.
That's a great answer.
Oh, yay!
Yeah. I mean, sometimes it's, you get the soul-crushing, heartbreaking answers, but then other times, you get an epic answer like this, Julie.
That's great.
So who inspires you?
Everybody inspires me.
Yeah.
I mean, really, truly. I mean, I've got my celebrity idols, I guess. I mean, Dolly Parton, of course, is very inspiring to me. She's just the full package all around, business, talent, all of that. But you know what? I get inspired by my best friend who just cooked 4 to 6 large pans of penne pasta and took it to the police department after the tornadoes.
Yeah.
Just on her own. That was her. She felt called to help. She wasn't a part of any, big movement or anything. And that just inspired the daylights out of me.
Sure.
Woke up on Saturday that I'm making penne pasta for our civil servants, and she did it. And honestly, that do-it attitude is what inspires me. Somebody just gets up and says, why not me?
Yeah.
I can do that. That inspires me.
So I know you have a list because I have a list. But who are a few people that you would like to work with in the future that you haven't had the opportunity to work with yet?
I would love to work with Ashley Brasher. She was the lead in Unplanned, and I just was so moved by her dedication to that character. I just think she's a lovely person. I'd love to work with Ashley. I've not worked with Mimi Fagin. Of course, as far as your, top tier level A-list guys, I'd love to do a Coen Brothers movie.
Oh, sure.
Coen Brothers would be just that. I mean, that would be, I could die now and everything I ever wanted to.
Yeah.
I just really love their writing and respect their filmmaking abilities. Love them.
Those are good ones. What is your favorite type of cake?
I kind of prefer pie.
Brian Dobbins is going to love you.
Cherry pie would be my favorite dessert. Chocolate cake in a pinch. I'm not
Sure.
going to turn down. You know what? I'm not going to turn down any pastries. Whatever. If it says sugar and bar in it, I'm pretty much, I'll be your girl.
Okay, so cherry pie. Yeah, cherry pie, does it have to be warm?
It does not have to be warm.
No?
No.
See, I'm a cake person. I'm a cakey moosey pudding. Say that's like a tongue twister. That's like my go-to. I like pie, but I'm so picky about it. It has to be warm and it has to be a la mode.
Oh, yeah. See,
so.
That's kind of how my son is. But no, man, I'll, midnight, eat the pie out of the fridge. I'm the light of the fridge. And if you come to catch me, I'm like that mouse, mouse.
I love that. You're going to make me have to go buy a pie now.
Everyone's like, why do I crave pie?
Thanks, Julie. Now, what is a big future goal that you have set for yourself?
Trying to get my music heard. I never would have thought that would be so hard, I guess. I mean, I knew that this was hard, but, we're just trying to get it out there and let people hear it without being, too obnoxious about it.
Sure.
If you know what I mean. I have a 15-year-old son that homeschools, and so our biggest goal is, making sure that he's a viable citizen of humanity.
Yeah.
Some days are better than others.
Yes.
Most days are better than others. I'm very blessed. I've got a great family. That's probably my short-term goal right now. Really just take one day at a time and try to do the best I can. And you know what? Even if there's a day where I don't get a darn thing done and I stay in my jammies all day, to be okay with that, let that be okay for me,
Yeah.
I think, okay, you are doing something. You're resting.
Yes. You can always work on your script memorization in your jammies. No one would know.
I know. That's the best part of being a creative.
Yes, I love that.
Actually, it's funny. I have never been productive in pajama pants. That's, so as a creative, I work from home a lot. And as homeschoolers, we get up and get dressed for the day. I mean, we wear real clothes and we wear shoes and we brush our teeth, and we don't leave our house for days on end. But that's an important thing for us to do personally, to just remind ourselves that you're human. You got to take care of yourself, and you feel productive when if someone came to my door and needed me to do something, I could leave right away.
Right. Yeah.
You're like, oh gosh, please don't let anybody call or come over. I'm not ready for that.
I don't think anybody wants to see me in my paw print pajamas.
Nobody wants to see my pumpkin print pajamas.
Now, if you could give a really good piece of advice to the listeners, what would it be?
don't take everything so seriously. To have a good sense of humor and to be able to laugh at yourself, to be able to laugh at, situations that we find ourselves in, to remember that we're all in this together. We are all riding around on the same marble. It's important to lighten up and laugh and give yourself a break. Give me a break. Give each other a break. That would be my biggest piece of advice. Give each other a break. It's going to be okay.
That's fantastic advice. It really is. Because I think a lot of people have lost their sense of humor.
I'm afraid so. It just is depressing. We've got to laugh. I mean, humor is a great gift.
Yes.
It really, truly is. And laughter, I believe, is the best medicine. Give it a shot. What have you got to lose?
Yes. Laugh a lot and drink plenty of water.
Right.
And you'll be healthy.
Drink wine. Water, right.
Now, where can people find you on social media?
I am on all the platforms. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I have my own website, julitapken.com.
Mm-hmm.
And anything you ever wanted to know about Juli Tapken, you can find there.
And now, are all your social links on your website, too?
Yes.
Oh, easy peasy, kids. Yeah.
Juli Tapken.
Fantastic.
And follow me on Facebook and Instagram. I love to hear from people. I really appreciate the people that have heard my music and reached out and let me know how they like it. As a songwriter, that's imperative because I've always got, this one just came out. We're writing the next one. So it's good for me to know what's resonating with people. But I really appreciate the people that do take the time to, just give a quick word of encouragement or, just to, hey, I heard it and liked it.
Well, Juli, thank you so much for your time today. I appreciate it.
Oh, girl, thank you so much for your time. It is so, so good to connect with you and to share these exciting things with you. I'm just so grateful for you and how you get up every day and just make it happen.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I'm going to keep my eye on you and all the awesome things that you have going on. And you and I are going to work together again very soon.
I hope so. I hope to do it.
All right. Please do. All right. I will talk to you again soon. Hey, you're welcome. Feel free to share this podcast with your friends and family. You can also follow me on Instagram and Twitter at It's Me, Lana Reeve. Also, stop by Apple Podcasts to subscribe, rate, and review. Many thanks to the musical genius of Kevin MacLeod at Incompetech for our super slick theme song, Jet Fueled Vixen. Thank you to Michelle Lawson for our witty and fun disclaimer.